poverty, natural catastrophes, and so on, to mention it. So Pakistan comes only to the media if it's something bad happened, never the positive picture. And I think this someone has also to be changed. And this is particularly not typical, not only for Germany, but I think for all Western Europe. And I think that Pakistan got a bad image, an image which it doesn't deserve. I think Pakistan deserves a much better image, and I always try to be an ambassador for Pakistan in Germany. Nevertheless, we have to be aware about this negative image Pakistan has in the Western world. And also, I think, if you talk to German politicians, it's always the issue that we got here a nuclear power, which is always shaken by these conflicts, and one has to find a way how to cooperate with this country. So it's always that this issue of insecurity plays an important role if people, politicians are talking about Pakistan in Germany. And I would even go a step further and say sometimes you get the impression that Pakistan politics, particularly using this insecurity to get a certain attraction into international politics, into Western politics. I think this is something one has to keep in mind. And what I would like to talk today here about is how we can flip the side from this very strong focus on security to focus much more on cooperation and on development. I think this is important to flip, mentally to flip this side. So the main argument is, and this was very true when we traveled the 3 weeks along this Indus River, it doesn't matter where we have been, it was all about security. Everything that didn't work was legitimated with security. If the driver asked for a higher tip, it was for security. If the water didn't work, the reason was security. Everything was security. So security became the excuse for everything what didn't work or what did work. And I think that this is something one has to overcome. And I hope to give you some ideas. If we think about security, we see, of course, and this you know better than I do, we see on the one side all this kind of trans-border conflicts. This is Pakistan facing the legacy of the Kashmir and Indian conflict, the ongoing conflict with Afghanistan, the Baluchistan issue which is coming up. And on the other side, what we see, what I find so critical, how hard any social change takes place in Pakistan. We nearly see no social change taking place in Pakistan. The question is how we can bring a social change to this society. On the one side, we got this legacy of what we call feudalism or the biradari system, which precludes any social change. We got still this contestation between a weak democratic system and a military influence. We got this ethnic and sectarian contestations, the one between Sufis, Salafis, and so on. We got all these internal conflicts plus this external one, and it's quite easy to think about the security issue. And what we of course see is that by the security issue, there's always this picture drawn that Pakistan is surrounded by enemies, at least sandwiched between India and Afghanistan. And hereby you always then come back to this, in my eyes, somehow also overcome debate that the strategic death in Afghanistan. I think it's a typical military approach. But if you're just following today's politics, you see in global politics, I would say that the economic power becomes much more important than the military one. And here I think, particularly if we take India, I hardly talk often to Indian generals when I'm in Delhi. The idea of a conventional conquest in military terms, I think that these times are very much over, and that the economic issue becomes much more important. Before starting now to think about what might be alternative perspectives, I think there's one issue which is often forgotten, that we are just thinking about, okay, how we can change from today the world, what we have to do. But allow me just to think 20 years further, or 25 years further. In 25 years further, 25 years ahead, Pakistan will have 100 million more people. 100 million more people. 2050, there will be about 350 million people living in Pakistan. Tremendous amount of people. On the other side, we see that, the resources of the country getting less and less, particularly water, the water resources. We got the melting of the glaciers, we got less and less water. We can even say since 1988, Pakistan is a water-stressed country. Today, the water reserves are only reaching for the next 30 days, not longer. So we are a country, and then imagine 150,000 people plus within the next 30 years. So we have to ask ourselves how this country can survive. And I think if we think about Pakistan, we should not think about how we can change from today to tomorrow, but we have to take this long-term into consideration. Let's think about the next 30 years. And then you see how dramatic the situation of Pakistan is and how we have to find new solutions, or how Pakistanis have to find new solutions for their country. And here my take on is the way that Pakistan, but also India, are much more advised for cooperation with the neighborhood. Otherwise, with a policy where you got only one or two allies, you will be somehow locked, and more or less in the end, you will have a problem how to educate your own people, how to create jobs for your own people, how to create a livelihood for so many people, how such a country can survive. Against this background, I got 4 points I would like to mention here. The first one, I think, is if you're in Pakistan, but also in Central Asia and also India, there's always a lot of talk about geopolitics. Talk about who might be your allies in your neighborhood. In my eyes, we need a focus from geopolitics to geoeconomics. I think this is high time for thinking about how Pakistan can reallocate itself in its own neighborhood. Where you still see the argument of geopolitics is when if you are taking the so-called China-Pakistan corridor with the Gwadar Harbor into consideration. It's a typical geopolitical approach. Just the term corridor means just kind of a road. Yeah, you can go in both directions, but it's a road. It's not a crossroad. It's not a turnstile. It's just one road. It makes you depending from the one or from the other side. And I think this is highly critical. You still, it's a focus in which you're becoming, there's at least the high risk, the peril to become very much dependent on the one or the other side. In this case, particularly from China. And Pakistan got the potential to become a crossroad. And I think it's very important that Pakistan has to invest much more in the thinking of crossroads. And if you take a step further and see the geoeconomics in the whole region, what you observe is, of course, that all the other countries are to Europe much easier and much more cost efficient than if you're going by ship. So what you currently observe is that you got a new network, a new geoeconomic corridor built up in Eurasia, where Pakistan is only ejected to only via China if this Gwadar story comes true, not at all. So this is why I feel that here Pakistan has to be interconnected to this network, and hereby there are two chances. On the one side, to interconnect the whole Gulf region with this area, and on the other side, India. Because so far, India is hardly connected with this Eurasian economic system, but a keen interest, and I think this creates a win-win situation for both countries. A couple of years ago, I traveled to the Atari border close to Lahore. If you're on the Indian side of Atari, what you see is they built up 5, 6 huge terminals, larger than you can imagine anyone in Europe. India is ready for this connection, this Eurasian transport. So far, I just see that Pakistan and also, for sure, Afghanistan are not ready to do this. And I think this would be a win-win situation for both countries. So thinking about this geoeconomics and not about geopolitics, of course, today in the globalized world, power depends on economics, not anymore on military or strategic approaches. Moreover, I think the whole question of future energy resources, and as indicated, Pakistan needs a lot of energy resources. It's important to be here connected with the Dolatabad field in Turkmenistan, with the Iranian resources. I think there's a huge market included, and of course, a huge market also for Pakistan. Saying this, a couple of years ago, I was invited by a think tank close to the president of Uzbekistan in Tashkent. And when you talk about all these Eurasian projects, and they always become nervous if you talk about Afghanistan, because saying Afghanistan, they're very afraid about the Islamism. But if you then dig deeper, they're not so much afraid about Afghanistan, or they're afraid about Afghanistan, but the real devil, they really say this, the real devil is Pakistan. So there's a lot of trust lost in Central Asia in respect of Pakistan. There's a great trust into India, but not no trust into Pakistan. And here I think if Pakistan wants to be part of this new business, it has to start very, very early. It has to be the first one to step in here, to reach from one day to another. It takes a lot of time, and here what I always see that in Central Asia there's very little trust in Pakistan. How Germany can here assist, and I think this is something what I would like to mention here, that as indicated in the beginning, Germany is really seen as a very trustful partner in Central Asia, in South Asia, as well as in Iran. It has a very long tradition, of course, particularly for development aid, but also for economic cooperation with India. The same is true for Afghanistan. Afghanistan was once one of the most important partners for German development aid in the 1970s, but also if you go to Central Asia, and particularly to Iran, but even in the wider circle, Saudi Arabia and China, in each of these countries, I'm always surprised, but Germany got a very, very positive, respected reputation. I think this is very important. I think that Germany would always be ready here to be to partner up with Pakistan, to assist Pakistan in building up this relationship. So this is, I think, was something. I don't know how you think about it, but I would imagine that the German government would be ready also to assist here Pakistan. Second point, what I think is important to come back in, it's important that the state has massively to invest in its own, the own knowledge of the society to create a market outside the agrarian sector. This will only be possible by investing in education on all levels. I think often we talk about the social capital. I think that the meaning by social capital is the capacity of the society to build up this knowledge society. Where you often say there are many countries which don't have them. Pakistan is a country which has this capacity, social capital, but it has to be built up. And therefore, my prayer is to that Pakistan really has to invest in the knowledge society. All the other countries, take Malaysia, they made a lot of mistakes. And if Pakistan would jump in now and change their policy, it could learn a lot from countries like Malaysia, don't do the same mistakes, but really can be, again, something which takes 20, 30 years, but got the potential to become a knowledge society. And also here is to mention that particularly Germany here is, I think it's a very, very valuable partner. You know that you got the German academic exchange, which has a very strong interest in Pakistan. Every year, more than several hundred students coming to Germany for MA and PhD courses. There's a strong interest in the German government here to assist in a kind of much more education between Germany and Pakistan. And don't forget about the vocational training. Germany is one of the most important export sellers for Germany. The vocational training, I think something else for Germany can really could assist Pakistan. Third point I'd like to mention is something which is perhaps coming up currently in Germany very strongly, and where somehow also Pakistan can help out Germany. And this has something to do with migration policy. If you see so far the region here, you see we got a lot of different national migration policies. Pakistan got its own migration policy. Afghanistan got its own one, the Gulf states got only their own one, Saudi Arabia, and so on. And in my eyes, what we can observe is that in this migration policy, we see a lot of labor migrants going, particularly to the Gulf states, millions and millions. There are about 3 million from Afghanistan, somewhere in the Gulf area, several millions from Pakistan. So you see a huge labor migration in the whole region, which is often going on very uncontrolled. And where you often see that there are not even minimal working standards in the countries which are taking on the labor migrants. And you also see that there's always still refugees and labor migrants coming from Afghanistan to Pakistan. Currently we face the politics where Pakistan sends many of them back to Afghanistan. And I think it would be very important to come up with a kind of a regional migration policy for the whole region, the Gulf states, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, eventually even including Iran. Here, I think that Europe, the European Union, particularly Germany, would do everything to make this possible. The reason is, as you know, that Germany faced in the last year a huge wave, surge of refugees coming to Europe, which created many challenges for the European Union and for Germany. And currently, Germany and Europe have really an interest to do anything for getting here more kind of a regulated migration policy. Of course, I think we can really say this very bluntly. Many of the Afghan refugees who are currently reaching Germany are there because they can't go to the Gulf states or to Pakistan or anywhere else. So they're just looking for a better life, and not a really political refugees in the United Nations Convention, what the United Nations Convention have in mind. So the question is, this is an open question, to what extent this kind of a regional migration policy would be something that would become true. Again, I think here from Germany and the European Union, they're really thinking about what one can do to regulate this migration, this currently unregulated migration, better way. My last point is a very long one. I don't know if I get another 5-10 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. It's about more or less, and mentioned I'm a professor for peace and conflict research, and you have always to ask what you can do and how you can, there are certain issues in Pakistan and how you can change them. And for me as a professor in peace and conflict research, it's very difficult to give you answers because everything was said. And the thing we always know what's going right and what's going wrong in Pakistan. Nevertheless, the key idea of peace and conflict research is to flip the side from isolation to cooperation. Still my view is, my take on Pakistan is it still very much believes in this cooperation with China. If you see how China, the cooperation with China, particularly in Africa or South Asia work, they are very much from the Chinese side, very much focusing on their own political and economic interests. It's not a kind of friendship. I think this wouldn't be the right word. It's a kind of economic partnerships, and they last as long as it's in favor for Chinese economics and politics. So you have to think, Pakistan has to think about if China is a lasting partner for forever, or how to cope, to what extent it makes sense to becoming independent on China, or wouldn't be better to have many more partners. The same is true for Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states. So the idea of peace and conflict studies is to forget for a second to think about security and much more think about cooperation, to be innovative, to think about how we can change society and not to be stuck in this whole security discourses. And I know it's quite difficult to be innovative, but I would be happy also to learn from your side where you see innovation, how we can break some of these vicious circles. The first one, and I hope I can talk about this here, this is which is always mentioned, often not directly, but often only behind the curtain. If you talk about Pakistan, is the role of the army. And if you talk about the role of the army in Pakistan, and some people are even talking, some of my colleagues, about the garrison state, we have to acknowledge that Pakistan is a key V2 player in Pakistan politics. And I think what we all, too often, the role of the Pakistan army, the strong role of the Pakistan army was ignored. And in my eyes, if you talk about any kind of innovation, political innovations about Pakistan, we have always to take, well, the Pakistan army has always to, not only to be considered, but directly from the beginning to be included. And I think it's important to understand that the Pakistani army got a certain political legitimacy in the country, and one has to think about the future political legitimacy of the country and a certain political economy. And both is always to consider if you think about the future of the country. For example, if you think about the economic improvement with India, we have always to think about how also in the political economy of the Pakistan army has to be involved here. So we have to think about how the Pakistan army should also benefit from a change. It's always a debate about if the Pakistan army should be in its status, it should be diminished, it should be getting smaller and so on. I would say completely disagree. I think we have to think about how the Pakistan army can be also kind of a changer of the whole situation. So take the Pakistan army very serious. If you talk about India, this I think is another topic where it's very hard to talk about. In my eyes, and I'm often invited to talks to the State Department in Washington in respect to Afghanistan, but we were saying the war in Afghanistan will continue as long as the relationship between India and Pakistan will not improve. I think we have really to face the situation that the Indian-Pakistan relationship is key for the whole region. And I think what has to come has somehow to break this vicious circle of blame games and interfering in the domestic politics on both sides. I think this is key here to start the game, to build trust. And I know it's currently not the right time to talk about this, because currently we see again that the tensions between both countries increase. 3-4 years ago, when you have been in Punjab, everyone wasn't enthusiastic about smoothing of the relationship between both countries. So it's something that we observed in the last 6 years, always is up and down. But I think we have to really to break down this vicious circle. One idea, and also an old one, but I really see this is a very promising field, is the economic relationship as a tool of trust building between both countries. I think there should be really investment in strengthening the economic partnership between both countries. Also, I think here Germany would be ready with its very good contacts into the economic sectors in both countries here to build a bridge. But I think that this is really very key. Here my take on would be we really need to strengthen the business between both countries. And what we can observe, of course, is that that here of both, it would be a win-win situation for both sides, and as well Pakistani as well as Indian companies are very keen of intensification of this economic trade, particularly if you have in mind this Eurasian network which it comes out. Secondly, of course, we need a kind of trust building, kind of multi-track diplomacy. Currently, there are two partnership projects I have in mind. The one is between universities of Amritsar and Lahore. If you go to Amritsar, to each some you are talking, they got still the memory of the city of Lahore. In Lahore, everyone is talking about Amritsar. They're so keen to learn about the architecture, the everyday life, the food, about everything on the other side. So my idea is to have, for example, a project where you get PhD students from both countries, which are then doing their PhD in Germany, in a kind of a tandem way, doing this together, where they're interacting with each other. And what I learned is always is that Indian and Pakistani students, if they are meeting somewhere in Germany, it works perfect. It really works perfect. But I think this is very important, particularly in this time where often memories to the history are vanishing away, to keep up this interaction between Indians and Pakistanis. And I think here also Germany would be ready for doing this kind of cooperation. Another cooperation yesterday talked about this would be to do this with Mumbai, and with Karachi. Here to have this kind of a cooperation. I think here Germany would be a kind of a neutral ground for providing here this kind of cooperation partnership in higher education. The other points I have, I will perhaps we can perhaps take into the discussion. I think the question is, of course, if you take the Kashmir issue, it's a debate. There are also many alternatives, many scenarios are on the table. I think it's another question of political will. But just to give you an example, I don't know if you know, who of you knows about the so-called peace park between Peru and Ecuador. Peru and Ecuador were 20 years ago fought a small war about a border area. The outcome of this war was that they both agreed about that this jungle area did not belong to the one or to the other country. So what they did is to build up a peace park controlled by both countries. And it smoothened the relationship between these countries very much, and today they're the greatest friends. I think we have to think here about this kind of alternatives. A peace park, something that we somehow try to not to be trapped in this nationalistic territorial logic, and to think about other alternatives is a way for thinking about Kashmir. I think we are too often thinking this nationalist approaches and have to find other ways out. Finally, one thing, because I did a lot of work in the KPK, I think what's important, also in respect for trust building for the neighborhood, is the FATA region. This is perhaps very important for me. I think that the FATA has to be fully integrated in the Pakistan state as a separate state, as a part of the KPK. I think that something like the frontier points regulation has to be ended. And these are some of these state of exceptions we find in Pakistan, and we have to find a way how to overcome the state of exceptions. In particular for the neighborhood, I think it's important here to go a step further. I know I talked too long, sorry, Doctor. And thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm looking forward to your questions and comments. Thank you.